Hi, welcome to Two Non-Doctors. I'm Liz Mealy.
I'm Maria Shahada.
How you doing, Cupcake?
I'm all right. How's it going?
I've had nonstop construction outside my door now. I
Oh, that's
did you give
annoying.
me did you give me your construction?
Sent it. Yeah.
Yeah. You're like, I don't like this.
I'm done with this. So just give that to Liz. She's
I,
better.
had- I had to do a self-tape and there's just like no way around it. So what's funny about it is like, so for anybody that doesn't, I mean, self-tapes are now the only way you audition now. But you get a bunch of scenes, you put it on tape, and then you send it to them, but you have to slate. So you have to be like, I'm Liz Mealy. They usually ask your name, your height, and where you live. And so, this one was like name, height, where you live if you're vaccinated. And my slate, I'm not even joking, was just like name, Liz Mealy, 5'1", Brooklyn, New York. I'm sorry. There's construction on this side. There's beeping. It's authentic New York sound effects for this audition. Like I was just because it was insane. Like there's no, and it was like long kind of monologue-y chunks that I had to do. And it was just like, that was what I cared about. So I can't like wait for like, people that are beeping over here and nonstop construction for like, I was just like, but I said to my manager was like, I liked your slate. And I was like, it was necessary. Like, I'm not going to, I didn't want them to think I didn't care.
Yeah.
There's no way around. There's no work around.
Yeah. Yeah, you'll stand out. That's cool. I'm sure that they appreciate any sort of like humanness because I'm sure they get tape after tape after tape. Like, I'm Alexis. Oh, sorry. Alexis is always like, yes.
Yeah.
And yeah, my point is they probably just get like very like serious, like, and here we go. This is my art. Like
Center?
it's art too, but Um, I have to direct. I'm taking a theater directing class.
Ooh.
And I have to direct the scene today, and I'm excited about it.
What's interesting?
Talking props. You remember on Friends when Joey was in a play and the director comes in, he's like, "My talking props."
I guess I don't actually know what directors. I know they're essential. I know that they're important.
This should get you cast on something.
Yeah. I guess I just don't know what they do.
They have a vision for the script, and they have to make sure that vision gets seen via the DP and the actors and the set and the like everything. Like like how like if like you have making a decision when you're on vacation with a group of friends.
Yeah, and you just want to murder
chaos. Yeah. You need someone to be like, this is the decision.
Yeah, I'm in charge of the itinerary. Okay, so I understand in a movie set or like I guess for like directing, like if is it a play? Like, when somebody's like, I directed a one-woman show and you're just like, she just stands there. Like, what are you directing?
Well, directing directing a one-woman show is a little different. Like you might have like they would help with like the tech and the lights when the lights come on and like make all those decisions about where and when and how tech happens and like those like different I mean, it's hard because like with stand-up, it's like, how would you direct stand-up? I'm just up there telling my jokes. But sometimes directors like have a lot to do with content as well. Like I feel like I do when I do stand-up coaching, and I feel like I do a lot of directing. Like sometimes I just straight up give people the punchline. I'm like, it's just this. This is what's funny about it. I try to just get them there myself without giving them any punchline. But sometimes I'm like, it's just
you're like a comedy therapist.
Just say this, please.
You're like, you should here you go. This is how you're gonna grow as a human. Can you grab? And they're like, I can't grab it. And you're just like, just stop, just journal. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. But sometimes like with it, like the performer's too close to the material. Like if it's a material about your life or something, it's just like, for me personally, I need someone else to tell me like, oh, like this is interesting. I'd like to hear more about this. Cause I have all the information and I don't know how to edit it because I'm used to everything. So when I see other people's shows and I'm like, this ties in with this, and then the whole theme of this, and like, you can see it so much more clearly when it's other people.
Which is interesting because I think there's some directors that you're just like, oh, they're too big and nobody's telling them to cut stuff. You know what I mean? Like I think of like certain Judd Apatow movies where I'm like, what are we doing? This is like 7 movies. What are we doing here?
Yeah, but I mean, he's because he's the writer director. and there's too much ego going on.
Yeah.
Like writers shouldn't, they shouldn't edit. They shouldn't direct. Like I just think a lot of people who make their own films like could use someone else editing to say,
Yeah.
no, this is
No.
unnecessary.
Yeah.
Let's cut your ego right out of that.
I know you wrote all this, but we don't need all of this in here.
Yeah, my babies.
Yeah, you know my punchlines. I
Yeah.
remember one of like the most important things I was ever told in comedy is that you're gonna have to kill some of your babies. So you're
Yeah.
like, especially in joke writing or like writing, whether it's a script or even a short story, you'll write something. It'll be like your favorite line, and then as you start to finish or start to see the thing develop, you go, "Oh, it doesn't belong there." But it's so
Yeah,
good.
it's just yeah, I like it.
I need
Yeah,
it.
but stand up is a lot more forgiving about what belongs and what doesn't because there isn't generally like a through line. Like some people put it in, but sometimes it's just you can just go from like talking about cactuses to like
Yeah.
hospitals and with no, you don't have to have like a segue or an
Yeah, I guess
overall theme.
yeah, I guess because I write like little stories, so like my chunks aren't 30 seconds. My chunks are like 4 minutes. So I'll start out with an idea of what I think I'm writing about, and then I'll finish it and I'll be like, that doesn't really belong there anymore. Like that got me to where I am now, but I don't actually need it. And it actually is kind of distracting to keep it in. So like, and then sometimes the bit's only 2.5 minutes long because I went on a tangent for no goddamn reason.
Yeah.
Like I'm working on this joke about not even like I wrote jokes about when I was in Pakistan, but now I have jokes about just trying to get to Pakistan and just like how much paperwork and how like hard it was. And I do kind of sometimes like remembering just like I remember as it happened, it was so ridiculous, which is that the Pakistani embassy gave me the wrong passport and then tried to convince me it was my passport, and just like what that exchange was. Like it
Yeah.
just, you know what I mean? So it something sparked that memory and I was like, oh yeah, that was fucking nuts. So now I'm building out the story so people kind of like understand it. But I added a line. I hope it stays in, but I added a line that I was like, just so we're clear, like you have to leave your passport at the Pakistani embassy for 2 weeks. Like I'm away from my passport right now and I'm not handling it well. Like I have too much anxiety. I do not like, you know what I mean? So it's just like, there's little stuff like that. Like, I don't know if that's going to stay in there, but I like the idea that I'm like just continuing to explain how like, that's not just like a big deal in general. I don't like being away. Like it's too much stress to not have all the things that are important to me on my person at all times.
Oh yeah, that would stress me out too. What I mean, like, what do you think they do with it? Like, just for 2 weeks, do they just Google you, just like while I'm watching all your YouTube clips?
I have no idea. And like what's even like what I even add as a detail is like, just so we're clear, that Pakistani embassy is just a guy in sandals looking like he's waiting for the bus. There's no official, nothing feels like I gave it to him. He had put it on the desk. I was like, you're not going to put that away like in a filing cabinet, anything
I
official.
know, right? You're just gonna leave it there, like just put your coffee on it later.
It's like, what is this? Like, it was just so, I was just like, oh, but I don't know. I assume the time is like, we're busy, but like nothing about that building felt busy.
What did I do that somebody took something important from me and didn't put it away properly? And I was just like, that's, but I can't remember what it was. And I was like, that doesn't, can you make sure you like just lock that up? But
Yeah.
damn it, can't remember.
But it's interesting because like we talk about red flags in relationships, right? And so it's just like, oh, that's a red flag, and maybe avoid that. Or you see in 2020, like 2020 hindsight, 2020. I don't know why 2020. It was just very triggering to even say 2020. But like as I was saying, I was like, I don't like this reference anymore. But you see kind of in hindsight, like, oh, that might have been a red flag. But like sometimes you can't avoid, like that's a life red flag. Like this guy, like I was like, I have to leave it for 2 weeks. This feels very unofficial. I feel like they're gonna lose it. And then I come back and they did. Like they did lose it. Like they eventually found it.
But
But
they tried to like pass another passport off on you. Like,
oh yeah, it
wasn't.
was a full fight. Like I was like, hey, this isn't my passport. And he's like, it is. And I was like, is this what gaslighting is? Like I was
I
like,
know. What was the person pretty at least?
no, she was like 55 years old. It was like an older lady. I was just like, I literally yelled. I was like, this is not my name. That's not my face. Like, this isn't like full freaking out.
What the hell was that about?
Oh, it
You
was,
know,
and then it took 45 minutes for them to find my passport. So we're talking about lost. Like it wasn't like, oh, they grabbed the wrong one because they don't know how to read. It was like,
and this 55-year-old's like, wow, I'm an American citizen. um, I remember working at a comedy club, and I worked in the box office, but they gave me a chance to work as a server on the
a
midnight show.
chance.
Yeah, they were like,
Congrats.
all right, because I'd been asking, I was like, I want to wait tables, I want to be a server. And so they were like, all right, you could do the midnight show. Well, I don't know why they thought like the midnight show would be a good one to start me on, because it was just as full as any other show. And
Yeah.
in the comedy clubs, you have to like, they drop the checks and then they collect the checks, and then you go back and you process the checks and you bring them back. Uh, what a fucking mess I made. So like the comedian, the headliner's on the whole time, checks are dropped, people leave their credit card, you pick it up, you go, you process the card, you bring it back.
I
Well,
know what's
like
happening.
the whole of the second row goes, this isn't, they're like holding up the cards. Like everyone in the second row, I just fucked up everyone's credit cards and mixed them up. So like everyone had the wrong cards.
And did you charge them like the wrong amount too? Or did you
Uh
just went to the wrong table?
yeah, so I had charged, I don't know how I did that. I don't know how. So everybody had to like stay after so I could correct all of it. And they never let me
Wow.
wait tables there again. It wasn't until a while later that they let me, but like I had fucked it
That
up
is,
so royally. And
I
the
mean, that,
headliner is trying to perform and it's
and there's
midnight. Like
people like freaking out. They're like, my identity's stolen. And oh man,
oh,
I
I'm
mean,
shitting myself. God, that like, was my first attempt to, and it's already stressful. Like it's a
did they
stressful,
train you?
it's no, I mean, no, not really. Like it's stressful to wait tables anyway. But
Yeah. And
like
then you have to
with
be quiet
you have
in
to
the
be
dark.
quiet and you're like, what? Sorry, what? And they're like, just a rum and Coke. And I'm like, do you want Diet Coke or do you want ice? Just, if it, you can, but like waiting tables at comedy club specifically is because everything is at once.
Yeah.
Everything is like, I mean, on one hand, it's okay because you can like get everyone's order at the same time. You just go down the line. But on the other hand, it's just chaos. And if you fuck anything up, it fucks everything up.
Oh
And
yeah. It's, I can,
this is the worst night of my life.
just that story causes me anxiety as somebody that waitress during the day at lunch hour for 7 people. And I was like, no, thank you. Wow. Oh, dude. Yeah, they should give you like you get 2 tables. Like
Oh, no, I
start.
had a whole section and I shouldn't have. That was everyone learned a lesson that night.
I love the idea that the manager is like fixing your mistake and we're like, did we learn something today about managing?
Give me a matinee to start on, maybe. I don't know.
You want to get into announcements?
Yeah.
So thank you to all our Patreons, everybody that supports us. We are beyond grateful. You guys are lovely. If you don't know, you can support us. And for that, you get weekly bonuses. You get monthly bonuses. You get stickers. You get our albums. You get my book. You can become a Google guest. You can control our Googles. So there's so many options and fun benefits for being a Patreon. And you can do that at patreon.com/2nondoctors. That's the full word doctors.
And you can follow us on the socials. We're on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter at 2nondoctors. It's the number 2 full word doctors, and on Instagram at 2nondrs. And if you have time and you're feeling kind, please leave us a rate and review on Apple Podcasts. We love it. We love to share it on our socials and we get really, really excited. And thanks for everyone who's left reviews so far. Yeah. And yeah, you can buy my album that is out. You can get it on Bandcamp, mariashahada.bandcamp.com. You can stream it or something. And thanks for everyone who's left me like nice words about it and who's bought it, and I appreciate all of that. It's great. And then yeah, I'm around London for a bit. So I think I'm doing a full show on June 4th at 2 North Down for the Weapons of Mass Hilarity Middle Eastern Comedy Festival. And yeah.
Woo. I just added Long Island in July, so I'll be at the Brokerage Comedy Club in Long Island, July 22nd and 23rd. Then I'm also in Atlanta and DC in July. And then in August, I'm in Panama City and Pensacola, Florida, San Francisco. And then I think in September, I'm in Colorado. Fan mail.
Yes. We're doing a YouTube comment. It's from Sub7, and to touch on multiple talking points in the episode, dark chocolate.
We should probably say what it's about.
Okay. So
he's referring to, I think it was our Let's Get Personal, that what we rate 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10.
Yes. So he says dark chocolate, thin frozen, Reese's cups, 10 out of 10. You know what? I thought this was a list of separate things the first time I read it, but no, like the dark chocolate, thin frozen Reese's cups are 10 out of 10. That sounds amazing.
You know what? He made me, I don't even know if it was on my list, but holiday Reese's are my 10 out of 10. Like I only eat.
All right, Liz.
No.
We literally talked about holiday Reese's cups like probably 7 out of the 12 months.
I don't care, but that's my 10 out of 10. And I think I missed it.
He didn't make you realize that.
You know,
you love holiday Reese's cups.
No, you didn't make me realize that's how I feel. I think I missed it on our 10 out of 10. I'm talking about butt warmers. And really, it is holiday Reese's are perfection, and they do not need to be changed. I don't care that the heart is long for some reason and doesn't look like a heart, because it's so perfectly wonderful.
It is. Yes, he's absolutely right. And frozen, I want to try that. That sounds great.
Yeah, I mean, isn't it most candy just, I keep most of my chocolate in the refrigerator. I don't keep it in the freezer because I don't want to be like you know what I mean? Like I don't want to be like a dog gnawing on a bone.
Just gnawing on a Snickers.
Genuinely, just somebody comes in and I'm like, and then of course, knowing me, I'll have chocolate all over my face. So I can't have it frozen, but I do like it cold. Also, I think if I'm looking for, like, my parents, they now have they now have like junk food in the house because of my niece and nephews. But before my niece and nephews, like I would have to like look around the house like a scavenger and be like, if I was my dad, where would I hide cookies? If I was my dad, where would I hide candy? And it was usually in the freezer. Like no joke, would like be picking up like frozen meat, and then I would find like a Snickers under it.
My dad has gotten such a sweet tooth as he's gotten older. It's just like I come home now and I'm like, he's got like a Sam's Club size box of Reese's Rice Krispie treats. I mean, and there's always like some sort of ice cream, and like there's all kinds of shit. And my mom likes, she eats like lemon cake for breakfast and lunch. I think like sugar's never really been forbidden for me. That's why I don't think I'm like crazy about it. I'm like, yeah, it's fine. He continues on. I'm sorry, I'm just assuming I don't know why. Easily my new favorite guilty pleasure. Not sure of the cocoa percentage though. Cool. Yeah. That's great. I'm gonna try that.
My sister introduced me to I think it's called like Reese's Break. Crap. It's like Reese's, it's like a bar instead of a whatever, and it's got nougat, and it's like it's heroin. And because I'm off gluten, I wanted it. I like, you know what I mean? Like I wanted it. So I went, and then I read the ingredients to make sure, because I don't know what the hell nougat is.
I was just gonna say, what is nougat? Like, you hear about it.
It's not gluten, but it's not food either. Like it was, I'm not even joking. Like literally I read the ingredients twice because I was like, it's gotta be like, I'm thinking it's like a soft Twix like material. Like I was like, and I read it and I was like, it wasn't, it's all the things you think it is, like high fructose corn syrup and like more types of sugar. But I mean, like I read it 4 times and I was like, there's no gluten, but this definitely isn't good for my body.
Your body's like, just have gluten. What is it?
Almost delicious.
Just eat a cake.
Delicious.
You know what's in that.
Oh, it's so good, but there is nothing real about what's inside that. So I will be going off processed sugar eventually.
Oh God.
I remember I can't have it anymore because of my yeast allergy, but I remember discovering Take Five candy bars. They came out when I was either in high school or college. And you know when somebody tells you something and then it just freaks you out, but this is where my priorities were when I was like 17, 18. I was like, I discovered Take Five. I was like, they're the best. And they're like, yeah, I hope they last. And I go, what does that mean? They're like, yeah, sometimes they introduce new things and then, if nobody buys them, they get pulled from the market. And they were like giving examples of like older candy bars. And I became obsessed with pushing Take Fives on people. Like I was like an evangelical like
You're out there with a
pastor.
bullhorn.
Yeah, I was like, Take Fives are the best candy bar. They're both sweet and crunchy. Oh, are you
find
PMSy?
salvation in a Take Five.
Having a bad day, Take Five. If you feel PMSy, Take Five. You feel good about yourself, Take Five. Like I was
some like Take Five executive with this like wrinkled suit, like, lady, it's over. He's just walking away all sad.
And they're still around, and now I can't eat them. So this has got to be somebody that, like, I don't know, finds out God's not real. But
I like whatchamacallits.
What are they again?
I have no idea, and it's a little bit crunchy. And I've always, as a kid, I loved whatchamacallits. I don't know if they still exist.
Yeah, they're like an old school candy.
Yeah.
I can't remember the last time I saw a whatchamacallit.
You know what? The candy over here is disgusting. Like I will.
There's people that would fight you on that.
I don't give a shit. I'll be the first to admit that American chocolate is garbage. It's bad food. Hershey's chocolate, like I had a Hershey's Kiss. Yeah, and I was like, whoa, like I can't believe I ever ate that. I just didn't know any better. Yeah. So the quality of the actual chocolate here is better. It gets even better as you go further east into Europe.
Yeah, 100%.
Found a way to perfect it in the Swiss Alps, but like it's
like just a chipmunk, like just like I don't even know.
I don't know what it is. Chipmunks, no good nuts. So that's squirrels. Doesn't matter. So
nothing. We got nothing.
Yeah,
nothing
but like
facts
the
in
candy
here.
bars in here, the like the wispies, which is just air and chocolate. It's just
what's that fluke thing or flake thing? Whatever the fuck that is. It's just,
I don't know.
There's some weird UK candy bars.
I don't know. And then I try stuff and people are like, you've never had a what before? And then I'm like, that's not their accent at all. And then I'll try it and I'm like, oh, like, why do you do this to your children? Like, what? This isn't good. Like, I need to like get the snack industry together as a whole over here and just be like, A, we need to rename everything.
Yeah.
B, let me just tell you what's delicious, which is peanut butter and chocolate together.
Yeah.
Together as one. It's not a combo they do over here.
Do they not have peanuts?
They got peanuts. They just,
if you sit at a bar, which is what everybody does in the UK, what are the snacks they're giving you? Crisps? Giving you crisps?
You sit at a bar, a pub in the UK. What are the snacks they're giving you? They don't give you snacks. You might have a dirty bowl of like peanuts or.
Okay, so they do. I mean, I feel like that's pretty common. Is they have like.
Yeah, nuts.
I mean, my favorite, and it's like ruined me, is these chocolate covered almonds, these Japanese chocolate covered almonds by Miji. That I've become obsessed with.
Those are delicious. Yeah.
But you can't go back. Like you can't go back. Like
the further east you go, it just gets better and better. Like I don't know what it is.
You don't understand. It becomes, what happens is I try things in different countries and I become like, I'm like, you become uppity, but like in a way that you're like, no, I'm right though. Like, so like I remember trying these chocolate covered almonds in Japan and then being like, oh, I love, like, I was like, oh, I must love chocolate covered almonds. And then trying them in the US and I'm like, pap, pap, pap. Like, just like, I tried so many brands and I went and they're disgusting. And then I get my Miji brand and I'm just, everything's right.
I think that they roast their almonds, and maybe chocolate covered almonds over here are like not roasted. So there's that extra depth. There's something.
I think it's both the chocolate and probably the almonds.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm trying to think something else that there's just like a couple of things that like I would never have here. I would only have like overseas. The same way that like I want authentic baklava. I don't want like some bullshit You know what I mean? Like, I'm not having anybody's bullshit baklava. I want a Middle
Yeah.
Eastern woman or a Greek man to
Yeah.
make me. Those are the only people. I'm not gonna accept it from
Have
anybody
I
else.
have I talked about Japanese Kit Kats on this podcast? I know
I
with
don't know,
you
but
in
you introduced
person.
me to them.
Oh my God, they're so good. Did you know Kit Kats come in fruit flavors? You can get
Crazy.
plum Kit Kats. The first time I had them, I was like, wow, you wouldn't think a plum
No. And
Kit Kat. Like I didn't know what I was eating, by the way. It was all in Japanese. And so I just popped it in my mouth. And then I was like, what did I just eat? And I looked on the package and I think it must have said Kit Kat. It looked like a Kit Kat. And I didn't know what flavor it was. And I had to I somehow figured out it was plum flavored. And I've spent so long trying to find them here.
honestly, every time I do, because I now, because of my own addiction, I will always go to the Kit Kat section and look for you. And
Aw.
you've hired me as like some kind of search. Like I'm not even joking. I was in they opened up a Daiso in New York. I think there's one in Queens because I went to the one in Queens, but there's one in Brooklyn now, which is a Japanese dollar store, and I just I just love it. And so I went with some friends. That's how you know you've lost your mind. I'm just like, you guys all want to go to a Japanese dollar store? Like it'd be like if I was like, hey, you want to go on a fun trip to the Dollar Tree? Like, but it is, they're great. I buy a lot of stickers with cats on them. Anyway, there's always a section, and I look at every single one. I'm just like strawberry. I mean, they are good, but like
Strawberries are good.
it's never the one.
There's an Asian market right by the bus stop by my place. I'm always waiting for the bus, and I always have to run in there. I'm like, do you have plum Kit Kats? And they're like, what? I'm like, Kit Kats. Do you have them? No.
Plum.
Okay. Like run
Plum.
back out and get on
It
the
looks
bus.
like a butt. Nothing. Okay.
They just see me jump on the bus. Just like, who was that woman?
Did we just get robbed? What happened? Oh, I love a good candy talk. Thanks, Sub 7. You really took us on a journey. Googles. Googlies.
Googles.
All right, you want to go first?
Yeah. I Googled and it just had an epiphany. I was like, wait, I think my probiotics are like putting me in a better mood. Is that possible? So I'm like, can your probiotics improve your mood? And according to Harvard Health Publishing, probiotics may help boost mood and cognitive function. Yeah. Because I've just I felt like more calm lately. And I feel like stuff I normally find stressful, and which is everything. I find having to do anything in the course of a day makes me sick, like stresses me out. And instead of being stressed, I'm like, that's gonna be fun. And I'm like, what's that about? You know, like I am excited to direct today in class. But mostly I usually get stressed, but then I get these flashes of I'm excited for that. But just like random things, like I'm like, oh, it'll be nice, rather than like, oh God, which is my usual mood.
So did you change probiotics?
Yeah, well, I just started taking them again. I just kind of, I let it drop for a while, and then I just picked it back up, and then suddenly my mood was better.
Well, they do say gut health is like, you know what I mean? Like controls everything. So it can affect your gut health, can affect your hormones. It can affect like anxiety and depression. Like it, you know what I mean? Like, so they really do think it's like this barometer and controller of just about everything in your body. So that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, they say it's your second brain. So this article says the gut and the brain are connected, and the two are linked through biochemical signaling between the nervous system and the digestive tract called the enteric nervous system and the central nervous system, which includes the brain. The primary information connection between the brain and the gut is the vagus nerve and the longest nerve in the body. The gut's been called the second brain because it produces many of the same neurotransmitters as the brain does, like serotonin, dopamine, gamma aminobutyric acid, all of which play a key role in regulating mood. In fact, it is estimated that 90% of serotonin is made in the digestive tract.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Do you think all those candy bars we ate is probably not helping us?
Probably not. Let's see. So the gut affects the brain and the brain affects the gut. So like when your brain senses trouble, the fight or flight response, it sends warning signals to the gut, which is why stressful events can cause digestive problems like a nervous or upset stomach. On the flip side, IBS, Crohn's disease, or chronic constipation may trigger anxiety or depression. It's funny because like I read somewhere about fight or flight, and it's like what I thought the practical reason was, or what I learned the practical reason was that like you have to like if you really when you're really nervous, like when you have to poop before shows, it's because like your body's like you need to empty out so you can run.
Yeah. It's gonna weigh you down.
Yeah.
Is that why people get vomity when they're nervous too?
Yeah.
Like just get it all out.
Yeah, I think so.
Crazy.
Yeah. Oh, well, you can't run if you're in the middle of vomiting.
Yeah, and also, don't you need some of that stuff for energy? Like, because there
Maybe
are
it's just
just
like it's too late for this to, like turn into energy. So just get it out and
get it
let's
out,
go.
get it out. We don't have time for this.
um, yeah, and then let me see if there's any other. So a small 2013 study reported that women who ate yogurt with a mix of probiotics twice a day for 4 weeks were calmer when exposed to images of angry and frightened faces compared with a control group. And they had lower activity in the insula, the brain areas that processes internal body sensations like those emanating from the gut.
I'm sorry, I just
So
love that
those,
study, by the way.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Just like a horrified face, and they're like, doesn't even affect me. And you're like,
it's like
oh,
that's just a piece of paper with the face on it, and you're like, okay,
oh, good for
um,
you.
yeah, and that's why like all those yogurt commercials where women are having the best time. That's real. Yogurt does that.
Yeah, actually, that wasn't false advertising at all. Guys, yogurt makes you want to hike. It just does.
Yeah, so take your probiotics, everybody.
That's one of the ones I've been the most diligent about. Like I started taking that probably about 10 years ago. I've had to change. Excuse, I'm so fucking tired. Um, I've had to change the types of probiotics and stuff like that, but I found one that I really like and I've been pretty like diligent about it. But I wonder if I mix it up. They do say sometimes that you should like mix up your probiotics.
Yeah, make your
I
body
love the
gets
idea.
used
I
to it.
mix it up. Yeah, and
We've
then I
seen
just
these.
become
What else you got?
yeah, mix it up. What's the take 5 of probiotics? Something that's going to excite us. Really get us going. Yeah, I do because you've seen me. I've had like a million vitamins I take a day, and then I got down to literally 2, which is like a digestive enzyme I had before I ate and a probiotic. And now I'm somewhere in the middle again. I'm back to a crazy amount of vitamins.
Yeah.
not insane, but like enough that people are like, are you dying?
What's
What
this? Yeah.
Yeah. Great Google. That
Thank
was
you.
really inspirational. I think I've already Googled this before and I didn't get the answer I wanted. How can I stop waking up with a puffy face? Like this is all puff. Like, so I know from a previous Google that puffiness, like you just become puffier when you're older. It just is what it is. And it takes, when you were younger, you could pop out of bed and there was no puffiness, but now for most people, it takes about an hour. I don't know what the old line is, but I would say it's somewhere in your 30s because I don't remember and I haven't drank in probably like 8 years, which sleep deprivation and drinking can be part of it. But I tried this. The first thing was wash your face with cool water to reduce the swelling. So you're supposed to do that upon waking up. I did it, did nothing.
Okay.
I still feel puffy. I guess I felt more awake for the 30 seconds I did that. Then it was avoid salty and processed food before bed. Whoops. Whoops. I was like, oh, you mean my favorite thing to eat before bed? I don't know what was wrong with me. I came home, I had some really great shows last night and I really I made a tape, I think. I fixed some stuff during a new material show. Like I felt like so productive and like jazzed and I had dinner with Carmen before that. I just felt like good. And then I came home and I was like, to eat everything I own. What I did, I ate so much processed and salty food, like that is what that was. So, okay.
Johnny will have, and I will have like frozen pizzas at like 2 a.m. Every time I'm like, I got to stop doing this. Like,
yeah,
you're, so yeah, he can handle it. I can't.
I just feel like men don't get as puffy. I don't know if it's because they have facial hair that covers it, but I don't Tired, yes. I've seen tired man face, but I'm talking about like my face is twice as big. It's
I'm
puffy.
I I'm gonna say I don't see it. I know
I
that
see
it's
it.
real to you. But I I don't know what you're talking
2 hours, I'm gonna look gorgeous.
about.
And then of course this one I've joked about and I now know says don't sleep with your makeup on because inflammation of the skin contributes to facial swelling. And then of course also stay hydrated. So I've done nothing, almost nothing that I'm supposed to do.
Okay.
And that might be a factor.
Yeah.
But
Wait,
yeah.
you don't sleep with your makeup on, but you do like just you make a point not to drink before bed so that you don't have to wake up in the middle of the night.
Yeah, but last night I did all the things I wasn't supposed to do because
Okay.
I was also intermittent fasting for a while, which means I wouldn't be eating anything before bed. But I had carbonated water. I was crazy. I had carbonated water. I had
Girl.
these free cookies I found. There's these like corn puffy things that are just it's just salt and made up cheese. I had a real picnic.
Sounds amazing.
Yeah, it was great. I honestly the only thing was missing was you.
Aw.
Would have been I was watching a documentary. I was eating my snacks.
Is there like a
Mhm.
Powerpuff Girls? Is that a thing?
That is a thing.
We would have been
Powerpuff Girls.
Powerpuff Girls.
Yeah, they solve crime and we just eat snacks. But yeah, three Powerpuff Girls. I forget their colors. Green, pink, and maybe blue.
It doesn't matter.
It does. I have to coordinate our outfits. Okay, let's get personal.
Yeah.
Okay. What's the most impressive thing you know how to do?
I don't really know how to do anything. Well, first of all, for you YouTubers out there, I can move my thumb behind my, like, there you go. It's double jointed.
Whoa, freaky.
I know. That's my party trick. Most impressive thing I know how to do is stand on a stage and tell jokes to people and make them laugh.
Yeah, that's so I have a like a skill that makes money and then I have a skill that doesn't make money.
Yeah.
So I would say comedy is both are impressive. Like but like, you know, cultivated it, worked really hard.
Yeah.
Also like do you feel clearly we do it on stage, clearly we make a living off it, but do you feel like when you're at parties that also is like I see when people
No.
underestimate me, like they just meet me and they underestimate me, and then I make them laugh, and they're like, because I don't. Neither of us look like somebody that has that kind of wit. So that's
Yeah.
actually my favorite, like meeting. Like I remember with my ex, we went to like a weekend with a bunch of his like old friends that he used to work with like 10 years ago. So it was like this weekend. I don't know anybody but him, and we're sitting at a table, and I'm murdering like just murdering. And I saw like individually, like people like, you know what I mean? Because you go from being a girlfriend to being like, oh, what is this? And I'm just like, this is a free show and you're welcome, everybody.
I used to do that at the Bill Murray because I like before there was a green room for the comedians to hang out in. I would hang out back smoking, and then you'd inevitably end up talking to people. And I would never mention I was a comedian because I didn't want that dynamic.
Yeah.
And then I'd get on stage and kill. And like I remember I saw two people going, "That's the girl that was outside and we were talking to her."
Yeah. Oh,
That's
look,
our friend.
I just thought she was a lonely lady.
Yeah.
I was
I
like, oh,
love going from lonely lady to like, oh, she's a comedian. Because you look
still,
like you're like a loser by yourself
oh yeah.
with your
People are
backpack.
like, oh, your friend didn't show up. And you're
Yeah.
like, bitch, I don't have friends. But yeah, I mean, I definitely think hands down that is our most impressive skill. My non pay my rent impressive skill. Are you ready?
Yeah.
I think you'll agree with it.
Talking.
Pep talks.
Oh, yeah. Oh my God.
I think I
Yeah.
gave a good pep talk.
Yes. You are an amazing person to talk to when you have any sort of self-doubt, problem, issue, whatever. You're so good at being like, here's the overall picture and what you can do in the present and in the future. And like,
Yeah.
and then you're just like, damn, yeah. All right. Yeah. Like
Yeah.
when I was like, oh, like I want to write a book, but a book. And you're like, break it
Yeah,
down into goals. Like you're so good at writing and you have to do something with it or I'll murder you.
yeah. Murder. I do bring a little bit of murder into all my pep talks.
Yeah, you're great at the pep talk. You're excellent. Like you should be paid for that too.
Um, yeah, I don't want to monetize something that brings me joy like that. Like,
Yeah, I
and
know
I,
it'll ruin it.
yeah, and I still love comedy and I'm grateful, but I also remember years of being sad because I wasn't getting the notoriety or the movement in my career that I wanted because I cared so much about comedy. So there are just, I think I've now learned, I'm glad I'm a comedian. I'm grateful I'm a comedian, but I think I've learned more and more. Like whenever I like doing something like crafty or making something, I'm like, oh, maybe this could be. And I'm like, no. Hobbies. Let's keep our hobbies our hobbies.
Yes.
Keep our pastimes our pastimes. So I do, I like that I can be like my brother called me up maybe like a week ago and he was like mostly angry, a little bit sad. So he was in like a rage place. And I let him rage. I was like, do your rage. I'll hold your
Yeah.
rage with you. Um, and then like literally legit like catching his breath from being angry. And I was like, do you want to do you want do you want to hear my side of it? And he's like, yeah. And so I like broke it down and I walked him through it and I was like, I think this is something that could be helpful, da 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 da. And he was just like, all right, thanks, I feel better. And I was like, that's my favorite, that I feel better afterwards. It's my favorite.
Yeah.
I don't want to send an invoice after. How do therapists do it? Like
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
and you
Oh
see
man. Whenever
even
I'm
a change in like their voice or like if you're in person, like the shoulders come down and I don't know.
no, it's really impressive because I can always call you when I'm like, okay, I'm in a pit of despair. I need out. And I need like I need my you're like my escape button or something. Like I feel bad I have a cheat like that. And I'm like, Liz, everything is wrong. And, and you're like, I'm incoherent for half of it. And you're like, okay, cool. I remember calling you or I left you messages that just you couldn't. I was just and then fucking just did this thing and I can't none of it made any sense. None, literally not a word was spoken. And you knew where I was, what was going on, what I was saying. I just made a series of noises and you knew exactly what I was talking about and then gave me excellent advice.
Also because I've known you for a really long time. So that, but I've given some strangers some pep talks and that's felt good as well.
Yeah.
Like, because there's some, because you can do the same for me. And I think one, you're also good at it, but also you know me really well. But there's been some moments like whether it's like a young comedian I just met or somebody else, and I'm like, job well done, Liz. Like
Yeah.
I walk away, like you walk away and you can see like this, like the building's no longer burning. It's you see the steam coming out and you're just like saved another human.
Yeah. I did a new material night last night and there was only comics in the audience. And then like at the break, I was sitting with like five of them and they were just saying like, oh, that joke didn't do well, but it is just comics in the audience. And I was like, yeah, like the point of this is just to get it out of your mouth. Like that's all I want out of these nights is just to like, it was in my head. Now it's out of my mouth. And like it forms that much more. That's all. And then a guy was like, that actually makes me feel productive rather than upset. And I was like,
Yeah.
good.
And
That's
a for comedy, that's I think all the mindset shifting we've had to do in the last like 20 years is really, you start to see how it makes you feel better in comedy and then you just put that with anything else that you're upset about,
yeah.
because there's so much, I don't know, you if you see it head on you're just like, well, I'm failing. But if you look at it this way, you're like, oh, I actually got a lot done, or actually I'm further than I've ever been, or I know people that would be jealous to be where I am, including younger me. Like, and then
Yeah.
and I feel like I'm able to take that, which took years of being able to handle because I cared so much about comedy, and now I can apply it to anything. And it really is like that kind of, oh, I didn't think about it that way.
Yeah.
It's really interesting. Do you feel like you have a non-comedy impressive skill?
Now, pep talk time. No. Actually,
I feel like your cooking is exceptional. I feel like I've always bragged about you that like you would come into my apartment and be like, okay, what do you have? Spaghetti, toothpaste, and some string. I can make something.
Yeah.
I can make
Yeah.
something with that.
Yeah. I am. Yeah. I can be pretty good at cooking. I think my photography is really good whenever
Oh
I do
yeah.
it. It's just like I want to build those skills again. It's just like I kind of let them both fall by the wayside. It's like you just get older and you run out of time, so you just do what's necessary, and then you don't have time to like cultivate any of those hobbies. And I need to set aside time.
You're also a woman with a million hobbies. Like,
I do
you
have a
know,
lot of hobbies.
I wouldn't be surprised if like I logged on next week and you like knit a whole sweater. And you're like,
Yeah.
yeah, I found some yarn and then I watched a YouTube video. Like you kind of remind me of my brother Sam, where like he just takes up a hobby for like a month, perfects it, and then moves on. And you're like, fuck off.
I don't think I'm quite that talented, but like, I mean, I do have like hobbies that I've had for a long time that I've just let go. And then when I go back to it and I look at old pictures I've taken, I'm like, these are good.
Yeah. I forgot about
Fuck.
your photography, and that was like a big second part of your life or whatever. Your photography is incredible. I always think I feel like writing is adjacent to comedy, but your writing is incredible.
Yeah, that was another one. So it's just like, I don't know.
Do you still have
Where
your
does,
camera?
huh?
Do you still have your camera?
Yeah. Yeah, it's collecting dust over there.
Oh, good.
Um, I don't know. I just like, where does time go? It's just like, as much as I try to like break up my day and like plan for things and do things, I just never have any time.
Dude, if I have to do laundry, write an email, and like leave the house for anything, whether it's just like go pick up eggs, whether it's go to the post office, I'm like, it's 7? Like, how is it 7? Like
It's the whole day.
the whole day.
Yeah. I don't, I don't get that at all. I'm like, I get stuff done and I feel productive, but I'm just like, I meant to do nothing. Like I meant to do nothing on Sunday. Sunday was supposed to be my day of nothing. It just filled up. Like there was stuff fucking, I don't know. I don't know what I'm complaining about. I'm so sorry. It's just, there is never any time for anything.
Okay. Yeah. I want to know. I like hearing about what other people's skills are, because I think when you hear about what other people's skills are, you go, oh yeah, I am good at that. Or, oh, that's something I want to build up. Like I would love to hear from people, like, what's the thing that you feel is like most impressive, right?
Yeah.
So where can they write to us, Maria?
You can write to us at tuneondoctors@gmail.com. That's the number 2 full word doctors@gmail.com. And thanks for listening, guys. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.